All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a new drawing. And this new drawing is going to be a familiar one to you. And it is here, page 81 A. I know we've done this drawing a couple different ways, but I want to do it now in Fusion. I like this page of drawings. They're simple drawings. They're pretty quick to create. And it gives you the practice you need at this point. Right now, you need to create some basic shapes. Just learning how to do the creation of the drawings and kind of the repetitive portion of this. So again, I know these are simple. These are going to go pretty quick for you, but you're going to start to learn those skills that you need to and kind of have those set in stone. So to start with, this is the front view of the block here. What we're going to do is we're going to draw this front view. We're going to draw this L-shaped piece that you see here. And we're going to draw that there in the front plane. So to do that, we're going to come over here. We're going to go create new sketch or create sketch. And we're going to go ahead and put it on this front plane. Now notice again, this is labeled the front here. And we're going to go to the front plane here. So we're going to click there for our first sketch. This time differently than what we did last time is you're going to use the line command. And you're just going to draw the L shape. So we're going to go around the origin drawing that L shape. So we're going to go from here over, drawing it back up, back over, just drawing the L shape, making sure these lines are staying perpendicular and parallel to each other. You can do this much like what we did in CAD, do the tracking, track down to there, and draw that line to there, and to there to finish it up. All right, so there's our first little part. I'm going to hit escape to get out of that line command. And our first little portion of this, the L-shaped portion drawn around our origin. Now, if you remember last time when we did that rectangular shape using the box command, or the rectangle command, we put a couple of layout lines on the origin. When it's this shape, I actually don't have to do it that way to get it centered around the origin. This won't be perfectly centered, but it's going to be somewhat centered around the origin. To do this, we're going to make this happen. We're going to use the horizontal/vertical constraint up here at the top. I'm going to click on it. First, I'm just going to click on this point here, the corner, and I'm going to go to my origin. What this does, it's either going to go horizontal or vertical, whichever one it's closer to. So if it's closer to go side to side, it's going to go there. If it's closer to go up and down, it's going to line up there. Mine happens to be closer this direction, so I'm going to click here, and it's going to slide it over. Perfect. Now, this line is aligned to the origin, straight up and down. Now what I want to do is I want to click this corner, and now it can't go and pull this corner all the way over, so what it's going to do is it's going to move it down. So now those two lines are all black and constrained in there perfectly. I am going to undo this and do this a little bit different way, just so you can see what is going to happen there. Let's say this was closer, and that's the way my part was drawn. So first I'm going to go to the first point I did before, that corner, to here. Oops, I misclicked somehow. There we go. Notice this time it moved it down, not the end of the world. This time now I'm going to go up to this top corner and move it over to there. And again, got me the basic same thing as what we did before. These two lines are aligned with the origin, and now I just need to put my dimensions in to constrain this with dimensions. All right, first dimension I'm going to go from that far side to that far side and drag it up to here and above. Looking here at my drawing, again, when we did this before, I always assumed this was a square 2 inches by 2 inches. This one at the top is a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit bigger than 2 by 2, so I'm going to say it's 2 1/4. So total I'm going to make it 2 plus 2 1/4, so I'm going to make this 4 1/4 inches. So then go up there and go 4.25, and that's beautiful. Next, I already said this, that from here to here is going to be 2 inches, so I just come in here with my dimension toolbar and click from there to there, put a dimension up here, and make that 2. Now the height of my drawing. So if this is 2, I say this is half of that amount, so I say this is 1. This, I say it equals to this 1, and this, I'm going to make it that minimum 1/4 inch. So 1 and 1 1/4, I'm going to make it 2 1/4 in height. So I'm going to go from the top to the bottom, make it 2 1/4, like so. And now when I do this, Let's say our drawing was a little bit different orientation. And when I made that 2 1/4, it makes my drawing look something like this. It's like, oh my gosh, it totally messed up my drawing. No, it didn't. All you need to do is just go in there and grab your blue line that's still movable and drag it to where it looks more like what your drawing does. And that's great right there. Now again, when I said this was going to be a 1-inch measurement. So I'm going to come back to here, from the top to that line right there, and I'm going to make that 1. When I do that, that makes the entire drawing all black, fully constrained. Now, here's something that it really can get kind of confusing. Let's say all of our dimensions are all moved around and making this look really exceptionally bad. But when it's like that, that's really hard to edit our drawings. When I come back into it, I got to organize and straighten things up to be able to see, because all those drawings are on top of dimensions are on top of each other and hard to see. So when you do this, I really want you to organize your drawings. The overall 4 1/4 should go out there on the outside. Then this 2 1/4 should go out here on the outside. This 1 inch should go just on the inside of it a little ways. And this 2 inch should go up there. That is nice and organized now, very easy to see and very easy to modify. We may be modifying these dimensions later. So we're going to go ahead and finish sketch. And that looks great. So now we look back to our drawing. This, again, I always think this is a square. We made this part before 2 inches here. So now I'm going to make this extruded 2 inches. So I'm going to go E for extrude. I'm going to twist this up in 3D so we can actually see what we got. As always, we're going to extrude it in both ways, so symmetric. The whole length, and we're going to make it 2. And there's a beautiful little piece there. Okay. What we've got left is we got this portion here. For this portion here, we're going to put it on the front plane. So again, I'm going to create a new sketch. Pick on this front plane. And I'm just going to start this with the rectangle command. Rectangle command, I'm going to come down here to this corner. Notice it locks into that corner nicely. Pull a rectangle up and over to about here. Now, I did notice this when I did the second hour. Mine was kind of a bluish color piece. When I did that, it was almost impossible to see my line. Well, what I had to do is I had to come in here to inspect and turn off my color toggling. So it was just back to the grayscale. And it's fine that you have it back to that grayscale for now. Once you submit it, I will want it to be multiple colors. All right, so now these 2 lines are constrained. They're fully black, just as they should be. I'm going to come in here to my sketch dimension and dimension the width of this. Again, this was 2, and I think this was 2 here. So I'm going to make this top one 2 1/4, just a 1/4 inch over. Whoops, I don't know what I just did. Oh, there we go. Computer was just lagging. Then I'm going to dimension this one from here to here. And again, I'm going to make this just an even 1, because this bottom piece is 1 1/4. So 1. And that looks great. We're going to go ahead and finish our sketch. It's all fully black and looks great. Once again, I'm going to go to extrude. When I extrude this time, and once again, I have to select my object to extrude. So I'm going to click here and extrude it in this direction. This is where we want to change. I don't want to make this a new body. This is all one part. So I don't want to make this new body, but I want to join it to my other one. So instead of new body, I'm going to go to join. And I'm going to go a distance of just a 1/4 inch. And that is beautiful. That is that part there. I could go ahead and go back to my inspect, turn on my color toggling again, and ooh, that's a beautiful orange little part. All right, so that's got this first part of this done. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to make 4 additional parts, much the way we did in CAD, 4 additional parts that make this into one block. All right, so to make this happen, I need a part that goes into here, let's say to start with. So I need to measure this. Then come up to where I inspect, if I don't remember. That line is 2 inches, okay. Inspect again. Oops, nope, that's 90 degrees, not what I wanted to do. Repick my inspect. That line is 2 inches, okay, great. And there, that line is 1 inch. So I need a 2 by 2 by 1 inch thick block. So I'm just going to make me a new drawing. I'm going to come up here to my little plus sign and start a new drawing. I'm going to make it, I think, on the top plane this time. And make me a nice little box around my origin. Here, now that I'm doing the box, let's remember how we did that before. I'm going to draw the line command from my origin straight up. I'm going to draw a line command from my origin straight over. I'm going to hold my shift key down and make those two lines construction lines. Now I'm just going to make this around that symmetrically. So I'm going to go from, pick my symmetric constraint from here to here to the center line, get that centered up nicely, top to the bottom to my center line, and then I'm going to dimension that. In the width, I think we just said that was 2 inches. In the height, we're going to make that 2 inches also. It's all black, it's fully constrained, 2 by 2, centered up. We're going to finish my sketch and extrude this, and I think, didn't I just say 1 inch? I think it was. We're going to extrude it symmetric, the whole length at 1 inch. And there's a beautiful little part. Now, one thing I didn't do before, and maybe I should drop back and do that, let's go back to our original part, and we need to save this. To save this, I'm going to put this in my 5th hour folder. So let me see over here. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to go down to my 5th hour folder. We remember we have the practice folder there. I want you to make a new folder inside of your 5th hour folder. And I want you to call that new folder P81, 82, P81, P82, P81 and 82. That's the drawings we're going to put in there. So there we go. And we're going to go ahead and save this in first block. File, save. And we're going to make sure it's in the correct folder. 5th hour is the correct folder, but I didn't get my subfolder, so page 81, page 82 subfolder. We're going to save this as P81-82, and we're going to call this the base. And we're going to go save. Okay. So that saves the page 81, page 82 base. We're going to go to our next little part. We're going to go File, or up to the File, go to Save. And we're going to make sure this is the same folder, 5th hour, page 81, 82. You're not going to have the 5th hour part in there, but CAD 1 and 2, page 81, page 82. We're going to say this as P81, 82, part 2. Because we had the base, now we have part 2. And we're going to go save. And now we're going to continue making other parts. I think I'm going to make just a little skinny part that goes right here. Call that part 3. And then I'm going to make another part that's maybe half the size of this one and call it part 4. And another one that's about half the size here and call it part 5. Because I do want 5 different parts. So there we go. And actually I may make this one a little bit differently. I'm going to make them, and then I'm going to surprise you with what those look like here in just a moment. So let's see what we got. Alright, so now this is what I've got. This is my main block. I've made my other parts there. We see them up here above listed, but then also what you need to do is go ahead and open up our page 81 and 82 folder. If you've saved them all there where you should have, they're all listed here. Our base block, our part 2, our part 3, our part 4, and our part 5. So first thing I'm going to do is just going to pull in part 2. Pull it into here. And it places it right there. Now, right now being right on top of there, that's kind of in the way. So I'm going to pull it up here, out of the way a little bit, and up here. Basically, just put it right above where it's going to go. It's going to go right down here. I'm just going to go OK. Now for this, once again, we're going to assemble it. If you remember from before, you need to click this down arrow and go down to Joint, or remember, oops, I didn't mean to click on that. Remember, this here is also our Joint command. So we're going to click on Joint. I'm going to rotate my part to upside down. I'm going to pick this corner here. I want to be on this surface. My white target's on that surface into that corner. Click. And I'm going to come down to this surface and click right there. It moves it right down to there into place. Now, that's the one type of joint that we've got there. One thing I didn't show you before is you can do some different things with this joint. Once I have that there, I can rotate it on that joint. And if it wasn't right, I could rotate it like so. I really don't want to do that. I want to keep it in that position. But that is some of the options I can do. Also, there's other things you can do with that. is, and I'm going to run out of time, so just go OK for that.